Welcome to Canadian Mortgage Weekly. I'm very excited to be with you all this morning. We are on episode 18 this week. That's awesome that we were able to do all of these episodes with you guys. It's been awesome being able to share all this mortgage information. We've had guest speakers. We've covered off, a lot of really good topics. Over the course of these past 18 episodes, from refinancing to, just lots of information. So if you haven't seen any of our previous weeks, I want to encourage you guys to go back and watch some of the previous Canadian Mortgage Weekly episodes. It's really good, regardless of where you are in the process. If you're a new buyer, if you're wanting to know, some more information from experts in the respective fields, it's a great place to gain some information and have some questions answered. So just to introduce myself, so my name is Sam Thompson. I am a mortgage agent in the Barrie Simcoe area, serving all of Ontario, but primarily based in Simcoe County. Traditionally, we are joined with Joe Bladdock, who is a mortgage professional, again in the Barrie Simcoe area, but serving all of Ontario. He is unable to be with us this morning, but he will be on next week's video, episode number 19. So again, thank you guys for joining me. Usually we have, a bit of banter between Joe and myself. We chat about mortgage news. Really, yeah, we're just seeing that the housing market is still hot. It seems like we have been, talking about maybe it'll balance, maybe there's new policies, but all in all, the mortgage and housing market is still very high from where it is. I believe that the average price in Canada, the median price, is up to $716,000. So it's still climbing. Ontario is actually above average, with 890,000 being the median price. So it's definitely, prices are still very high. I think it is becoming a little softer to actually purchase property. We've been chatting in our most recent videos. We're seeing that they're conditional on financing, that, there's appraisals. All of these things are happening with conditions where before, everything was just getting scooped up super quick. So we are seeing a bit of a slowdown in the actual purchasing time. And we're seeing that for sellers as well, that are expecting to sell for 100 or more thousand over asking right on, the offer date. But we're seeing that they're lasting on the market a little bit longer. So this is good news for buyers, as it could, impact, the availability of inventory. And as we go into spring, we've been commenting the last few weeks as well that we have been seeing for sale signs everywhere, and they're staying lately. So we're seeing it, that there is a bit more inventory with spring. There's also a couple new policies like the stress test update. We did a video, if you watched our previous Canadian Mortgage Weekly announcement for the stress test update. So again, as of June 1st, if you are putting over 20% down on your home, the stress test qualifying rate is going to be 5.24. So this actually roughly reduces what you can purchase in buying power by about 4%. So again, we really want to, hopefully see that first-time buyers can actually get involved in the market, that they can, start submitting offers, they can make their home ownership dreams possible. So typically we see first-time buyers are putting, less than 20% down, closer to just the 5% minimum. So hopefully we'll see some results from this new policy that, some first-time buyers are able to get into the market a little bit easier if there's less competition with that new qualifying rate for, people who are refinancing to purchase a secondary home, or just to purchase, an investment property or something like that. So on the topic of first-time buyers, for this week and next week's video, we're going to be chatting a lot about things that are very available to you if you're a first-time buyer. We want to make sure that the process is what we're going to cover next week, from starting conversation with, Joe or myself or any mortgage professional, all the way until the closing of your home. So we'll take you through what to expect, some of the timelines that we see, rates, documents required, all of that stuff. But for this week, we're really going to be focusing on some grants and rebates and incentives that are available to you if you're a first-time home buyer. We know, as we were saying, or as I was saying, that the prices are quite high. So it's good to know some of the advantages that you actually have in the market as a first-time buyer. These are going to be, down payment assistance programs. There'll be, things to help you get ahead or save some money, because I think that's the biggest thing we see with first-time buyers is they don't really have, enough savings to be able to put over 5% down. If they do, it's closer to 10%, but we're seeing that a lot of first-time buyers have a good amount of debt, and they also don't have a ton of savings for their down payment. So I'm just going to hop into a screen share here, and then I'll go through my presentation and cover off some of the grants and rebates and incentives that are all available to you because you are a first-time home buyer. Alrighty. Share screen 2. Alrighty. So I believe you guys can see that now. So grants, incentives, rebates for first-time buyers. So there are actually quite a number of these incentives, grants, rebates, all of these things working for you as a first-time home buyer. There's a lot available. And as I was saying, they can cover off some key issues that first-time buyers have, such as, having assistance with your down payment, some tax rebates that are available to you for the next following tax year, or a couple other cases, and then just getting some extra cash when you buy by saving on land transfer tax, a couple of these things. But the biggest thing I think from doing all of the first-time home buyer webinars is that a lot of first-time buyers are really, they're unaware of what's actually available to them. They don't know if they qualify for them or not. So hopefully this will be a great resource for you if you're a first-time home buyer and you're just starting to, look at the market where it is and thinking, you need a bit of help with it. Hopefully all of these slides and this presentation will be very informative for you to get an idea of what programs are available that actually help you to get into your property. So firstly, I'm going to cover off some down payment assistance programs. So the first one that I want to mention is a municipal grant that's available to you if you're a first-time home buyer. And it is a municipally funded down payment assistance program is essentially what it is. It's offered in Simcoe, Waterloo. If you're down in Windsor, Essex, there is a lot more. If you're purchasing up in Ottawa Valley, Lanark County, all of those areas, many of them do have one of these grants that are available to you. And they do vary on what they're actually offering. So most commonly, they're around 10% down. I believe I used the Waterloo incentive information for this. But a lot of the times they do require you to be renting in that municipality, for, I believe, a year. Or more. So you do have to prove that rental history. But the beauty of this product is it's actually forgivable after 20 years, which is incredible for you if you're a first-time home buyer, if you know of maybe some other programs that will require you to pay back all of those funds. The benefit, if it is going to be your forever home, or you keep it for at least 20 years, then that loan actually you don't have to pay any of it back, which as a first-time home buyer, gaining up to 10% on a property and not having to pay it back is a huge benefit to you. Usually there is some income qualifying amounts for a household income cap, as well as the purchase price cap. But as long as you just look into it on your municipality's website. Just Google if it exists. And what it is it's because it's municipally funded, it will be waitlisted typically. And then once the funds are available, you'll be notified. So we've actually seen a couple of clients that are able to use this program. And again, it is really helpful for you, especially if you are needing a bit of a down payment assistance boost, because anything over the 5% minimum is going to soften your qualifying ratios a bit, and it's going to help you qualify for a bit more, keeping your maximum qualification more competitive in today's market. Another way for down payment assistance, if you do have currently money saved up in your RRSP, there is a home buyer's plan that's available to you where you can withdraw funds from this RRSP completely tax-free. So it goes up to $35,000 per individual, or as a couple, $70,000. So it acts like a secondary loan and repayment. So it actually, yes, gets considered as a home buyer's loan. But this is huge. We've even seen in some cases, if it is even a profit sharing RRSP where your work or employer is contributing some to that RRSP, I've seen a few of those that are able to still use those funds and withdraw from that RRSP. So this is a great way. I've seen, as I was saying, a number of first-time buyers using this because they've been, contributing to their RRSP, and it makes it an easy way to help increase your down payment without having to use your, just everything that's in your checking or savings account. It really provides an extra fund for you to increase your down payment amount. Some rebates that are available to you as a first-time buyer. So the following year after purchasing your first home, there's an income tax credit that's available to you for up to $5,000 for the credit. So this is just a line that you'll fill out on your, say you purchased this year, on your 2022 tax return, there'd be a line where you can put in $5,000 as your tax credit. And just to give you an example, for a household income of $85,000, it works out to be about $2,170 back in your pocket. So again, this is something that I think gets passed over a lot by first-time buyers because everyone's looking at what can save me up front, what kind of grants can I get to qualify? But there's also things that will benefit you in the following tax year to help you save some of that money. For anybody who's looking at buying from a builder or building a new home yourself, as a first-time buyer, you're entitled to an HST rebate on the purchase of that property. So if we assume the purchase price is going to be about $425, approximately that works to be about $33,000 back into your pocket. So this is huge, especially if you're looking at a new build. Sometimes it can be a long process, or there can be extra fees that you don't necessarily count on, such as, the pavement going in for your driveway. Some of those fees you have to pay for yourself. So being able to claim this rebate to cover off your HST costs is actually really big. So if you didn't know that this existed and you were already planning or looking at buying a new build, that might be a rebate that's suited for you. Looking at the land transfer tax rebate, again, this is a great one as a first-time buyer, and it really does help you get into the game, because I think a lot of the times we see that, it becomes easier once you're already in the housing market, once you are building equity, you're paying your mortgage down, but it's really just getting into that first home that allows you to start unlocking that equity, start paying down a mortgage. And then even if it's not your forever home, being able to refinance or just sell and purchase a new property with that existing equity and appreciation in value. So if you're purchasing in Ontario, the refund is about approximately $4,000 that's available to you. They do have an additional rebate if you are purchasing in Toronto, as there is also a Toronto land transfer tax on top of the Ontario land transfer tax, giving you an additional $3,725. So if you're a new buyer purchasing in Toronto, that's a total value of $7,725 back in this rebate. So again, a really good way to save some upfront costs as a first-time buyer. And it really does help save you in sort of that closing cost amount that we tell you to look at. This is a rebate that's going to directly affect the amount that you'll end up having to pay. some other incentives that are available to you. So some of our lenders that we work with will offer a free 1-year home warranty. So it covers home heating, air conditioning, electrical, water heater, plumbing, all up to $10,000 with no inspection required. This is a great one because, as we like to say with Murphy's Law, if anything's going to go wrong, it's likely going to be in your first year of home ownership. So this is a great warranty that's available to you as a first-time buyer for the first year of owning your property. Another incentive that there seems to be a little bit of confusion about in clients that I have chatted with in the past, there is a new to Canada benefit. So this is not limited if you are a first-time home buyer, but is only qualified by being a permanent resident for within the last 5 years. So what it does is, because it can be hard to have an employment history that satisfies most lenders' conditions, or it can be hard to have that kind of starting credit score that a lot of lenders are going to be looking for. So they actually treat you a bit differently if you are new to Canada, in that they won't actually necessarily use your credit score. They can also use phone and insurance bills to help qualify you and sort of look at what your credit history has been. And in terms of employment history, this is really big. It's actually reduced to just 3 months rather than a typical 3 years. So this is really helpful, as even if you've been a permanent resident for a year, it can really be, typically the lender will want 3 years employment history. So having this shortened to 3 months is really helpful. And again, the new to Canada benefit, it doesn't really affect your down payment amount. As long as you're a permanent resident, you are still able to put a minimum of 5% down. If you are here on a work visa, I believe it's within the first 2 years, you need to put a minimum of 10% down. But as long as you're a permanent resident in Canada, the same rules apply as any other first-time buyer, and you're able to put 5% minimum. An energy efficient program from Sagan. So this was originally Genworth. So if you purchase an energy efficient home, or you get your home built through a energy efficient qualifying building program, it actually offers about 25% rebate on mortgage insurance premium. So especially as a first-time home buyer, you're likely going to have less than 20% down, which means that in addition to your mortgage loan that you're repaying, you're also going to have to be repaying those mortgage insurance premium. So if you purchase or build a energy efficient home, this is actually going to give you a 25% rebate of that insurance premium. So that's actually quite a lot of savings. And if you are at all, a nature lover, or trying to stick with some energy efficient options, going green, this is a really good program that you can use as well. Of course, if you're a first-time home buyer, there is a government-funded program called the First-Time Home Buyers Incentive. So it actually adds 5% down payment to your existing 5% if it's a resale home. If you're looking at purchasing a new build, or building a home yourself, you can choose 5% or 10% added to your 5% down. So again, you always will still have to have that 5% minimum down payment to qualify for the incentive. But the benefit of this incentive is that it saves you on monthly mortgage payments. It doesn't, require you to have an additional fee. It's registered as a second mortgage, but the repayment is only triggered at the end of your amortization, or if you decide to break your mortgage, sell your home, something like that, it will be triggered at 5 or 5 or 10% of the current appraised value at the time of repayment. So it actually does give you quite substantial savings, month over month, and that's money that it goes directly to you. That's your savings that can go towards an emergency fund, to keeping cash flow high and your debt payments low, or that money's yours. It can go towards a hot tub fund if that's what you're interested in. But it is available on many available properties, from fully detached to semis, duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes. If you're chatting with your real estate agent, your realtor's buyer agent, they'll be able to tell you if it qualifies, but likely majority of the properties that they find are going to be available to use the first-time buyer incentive. So again, as I was saying, the repayments made at maturity, or if you break the mortgage by repaying 5% of the current newly appraised value at the time of repayment. So I hope that these were, beneficial to you. I know this was a quick video and I maybe went through them a little fast, but there is a lot of ways that you can benefit as a first-time home buyer, getting into the market, maximizing what you qualify for, getting some assistance in down payment amounts. So if you are a first-time home buyer, or, your relative is looking to get into the market as a first-time buyer, and they're maybe struggling, or they don't really know where to start, feel free to reach out to our office. We would love to get in touch with you and schedule a pre-qualification call, or a pre-approval appointment. We do a lot of them over the phone. Doing them over Zoom is also great because it gives you a bit of face-to-face contact. I know that definitely with all of these lockdowns, I have been missing out on getting to actually chat with people in person. But we have found ways around that with meeting screen to screen, which is, the next best thing. So feel free to call our office at 705-238-3479, or email us at the address on the screen now. So there are definitely a lot of incentives available to you. And especially as a first-time home buyer, we know that it's a bit of a tough sell to get into the market now. But we really still want to work with you to make sure that, we're doing the best things that we can to help you qualify for the most money, most mortgage that you can, and help you get into that first home. So if you have any questions about any of the information that I shared, or any further information about, maybe another grant that you qualify for, or if you're looking to get sort of a quoted amount of what your max qualification is, definitely feel free to write a comment below on this video. You can also reach out to us through direct message on social media. You're free to email us or call us. Just definitely get in touch with us, even if it's an early stage of home ownership. The best time to start talking about it is now, even if you're not looking at putting an offer in next week. It's great to get ahead of the game and start working towards what you qualify for, where you're at in the process. And join us next week when we're going to be going over the process from start to finish. So from first contact with a mortgage professional such as Joe, myself, or Terry Lynn at the office, to getting your pre-approval, to working with your buyer's agent, the whole steps from when you start talking to us to when you receive the keys on closing day. It's always a very exciting time for a lot of first-time buyers. We get very excited text messages, sighs of relief. Everyone is always very excited to enter home ownership. It's a very rewarding moment for you, and we would love to partner with you in that and help you as best we can. So definitely join us next week on Thursday at 11:30. We will be joined by Joe Bladdock, so it's going to be awesome to have somebody else to sort of bounce all of these facts and figures off of, and somebody with over 10 years experience. It'll be awesome to have Joe for episode 19. So we're getting close to the big 20. So thank you for everybody who has watched our videos over the last 18 videos. If you're new to Canadian Mortgage Weekly, thank you for joining me this morning. And I hope you guys all have a fantastic week. And I will see you all, next week for episode 20, or actually, sorry, episode 19 is next week. So take care and have a good week.